out for any part of the playoffs.
Well, like your theory with Carson Wentz. If the guy's up for MVP and you lose him, then your team is garbage.
You're finished. Not your team's garbage, but you can't win the Super Bowl. You can't win the Super Bowl anymore. I never said the Eagles are garbage.
Right.
You can't win the Super Bowl if you lose an MVP.
Sticking with the Steelers game, after the overturned touchdown, the Steelers still had a shot to beat the Patriots Sunday, but it all came crashing down when Ben Roethlisberger threw an interception in the final seconds of the game. It's a little controversial. We'll break it down, but first here's Big Ben explaining his decision.
It wasn't a fake spike. I was yelling clock it because I felt like that was the thing to do, was clock it and get yourself one play. And it came from the sideline, don't clock it, don't clock it. Well, at that time, I'm already got everyone thinks it's clock, so you don't have time to try and get everyone lined up. So it's I tried to. Eli saw that he kind of ran a quick slant in there, and at that time you just got to try and make a play, and probably didn't make a good enough throw.
To be real clear on that, is that Randy or Todd in your ear saying go for it instead of clock it?
Yes.
Which one?
Todd. Now once again, that's coming from the head guy. Someone's telling them, but they. Maybe they wanted a field goal. Maybe they wanted to tie it. I don't know, and so maybe that's on me. Maybe I should have just clocked it, whatever it is. I don't know. So we're not going to look back and second guess anything or anybody. We lost the game, and I threw a pick in the end zone at the end of the game to lose it.
CC, you looked a little confused as to a couple of things he was saying there. Does Big Ben deserve the blame for the Steelers' loss yesterday?
Well, I had a couple of conversations with Tiger Woods, and I talked to him about when he's in big tournaments, the back and forth between him and his caddy. Like, ultimately, Tiger, who makes the decision? So I asked him as a reference, but I'm the one pulling the trigger. So I'm the one. So the ball goes in the water, the ball goes over the green.
That's on me.
It's my fault. Now, Ben said the coach was saying, don't clock it. All right, so he was telling him to actually run a play. Now, Ben had already told, because the team was on the move, he was already yelling, clock, 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 clock. So this is the biggest problem. When you tell the offensive line to clock it, stop the play right there, stop it, stop the video. The offensive linemen, their splits are not 1.5 feet, 2.5 feet from each other. The center sets the ball. The right guard goes 1.5 feet, all right? The tackles go 2 feet away. So the line is a lot wider. When you tell them to clock it, they line up foot to foot so no one shoots the gap. So once Ben told them, clock it, clock it, clock it, he couldn't bide time throwing the ball because
no clock it, right?
Because there's nowhere to throw the football. So his only option in throwing to Eli Rogers is a disaster. I'm not throwing to a 5'8" guy. They got him listed as 5'10". The dude is 5'8" with stacks on.
Right.
All right? Running a slant pattern. Eli Rogers, he's in for Antonio Brown. So he runs a slant. He should have never run a slant against that coverage. They were playing zone. They had 3 guys guarding, 2 on that side. Only thing he should run, stop it right there. He should run a fade. Because that's the only way where the ball will be off the field and the ball can't be intercepted. Now, Ben's got the club in his hand. He's got to hit the shot. When Eli goes inside, there's no one there. Just throw the ball either in the stands or throw the ball off the tips of his shoes. Those are the only 2 places that the ball can go. Now, he can mention Todd Haley. He can do all that. But this is Ben's fault. Everything is on Ben Roethlisberger. He had control of the game. He decided to take a chance to try to win the game. They weren't down by 4. Right. They were down by 3.
Right.
So this is Ben Roethlisberger. He can add all the, Todd was talking to me. Todd didn't make a bad call by telling him to run the play. But as a quarterback, you have to realize this play is not there. What do I do? Get rid of the football, kick the field goal, and go into overtime.
All right, so I'm not going to put the loss, the entire game, on Ben Roethlisberger. He played a great game until that moment. But that last sequence, of course, is on Ben Roethlisberger. The play prior, the play on second down, you know you have no timeouts. You know, as Cece mentioned, you're down 3, which means, obviously, on 4th down, you're kicking a field goal. You have 2 chances to win the game. Throwing a short crossing pattern when it's not to Antonio Brown, and overwhelmingly likely the guy's going to be tackled in bounds, is what put you in this position to begin with. Secondarily, Ben says, I'm thinking we're going to clock it so we have one more shot. If you clocked it, you wouldn't have had one more shot. If you clock it, you're bringing the field goal unit out there.
Yes.
So what you're supposed to do in that spot, and I understand there's a lot going on, it's easier for me to say than Ben to execute, but a future Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback, you would expect to be able to execute it. They didn't have 6 seconds. They had time. Get to the line and run a real play. You can run.
You can't run a real play when you're yelling clock.
Agreed. My point is he shouldn't have been yelling clock it.
That was in real time, Nick. He had to clock it. He had to clock it. Like, that was the best chance for them to get the game into overtime. All right? That is probably the most highest percentage to do, is to clock it. Clock it on third down, kick it.
It's definitely.
All right? You don't have Antonio in the game. All right? So there's no advantage. You got one receiver over 6 foot. Throwing in the red zone.
I totally agree. It's the best percentage.
You can't run the ball because you got no timeouts.
To get the ball into overtime. But because I don't have Antonio in the game, because Tom Brady's just carved up my defense twice in a row, I want 2 shots into the end zone.
How are you going to get 2 shots?
Well, the second down play is the one I'm talking about. The play there that wasn't a pass to the end zone. Then on third down, but fine. Even if you have to do the fake spike, call clock it, and then what it is, the thing that you didn't mention there, that Ben is relying on the receiver, right? Running to the outside, running the fade. And when he doesn't run that fade, he just has to throw it off the goalpost, right? He's got to throw it off the upright. Like, because, as CC mentioned, you're not down 4. Like, because...
That's Eli Rogers, though. Unless he's wide open, everyone trips, I'm not throwing him the football.
Right. Oh, because you're saying because you know who you're throwing.
Because he's nobody.
Because he's Eli Rogers. And so it was and I didn't understand his necessity to explain to the media.
He was trying to protect himself like he always does. Like, that's a Ben thing.
But
and
it's just...
he had no reason to even bring up the coordinator. Right. You know, he had no need to mention their name. He could have skated past that the way most quarterbacks do.
Well, after 14 years in the league, it's a shame he looked a little confused at that last play. And
he wasn't confused because he got the call. He got the order from the coach to run the play. Now, what he did after that was not confusing. He tried to win the game, and that's what caused them to lose the game.
All right, so let's move on to another game. The long-awaited Aaron Rodgers